Right, guys, so we all agree that we need a plan. Sorry, I haven't sorted myself out, but it's fine. Um, so yeah, we all need a plan, I think, and the plan is this is the plan. So I've got to work at the same time, so because of capitalism, man. If you have lots of privilege, use your privilege to help with the people, right? So like, if you're someone that has a lot of money, a lot of spare time, if you have like a really well paid job, you can take any time from that job to then contribute to things like community growing efforts, to decolonization, to doing things that are going to make things better for your community, yourself, your loved ones. That is like radical action. So, for example, if you have a really well paid office job and you can and want to reduce your hours, you can not only spend that time resting and recuperating, but also doing things for your community. And the more privilege you have, the more responsibility you have to use that privilege for good and for the revolution and for decolonizing our world. So, for example, I have quite a lot of financial privilege. I'm not like money's still difficult because everything I'm paying for is really expensive, but I'm in much better situation than a lot of other people. And so, like in my spare time, I'm not only am I resting and trying to look out for myself in that respect. That well, I have to because I'm disabled and autistic and so on, and I'm exhausted. Which is another point. Like marginalized people are working overtime naturally because they exist, like they already have to contend with like marginalization, stress, and loads of other things that other people that don't have those experiences don't experience. And that's why it's staggered, and that's why the privilege is staggered, and that's why it's also the more privileged people's responsibility to like help and support. So like look out for other vulnerable people, do things that are like anti-ableist, anti-racist, anti-transphobic, and so on. Make community and culturally and social norms create that kind of culture, um, and that will all contribute to the larger like stuff as well. And obviously, like most of us don't have the time, most of us don't have the money, and most of us don't have the resources to do any of this stuff. So I am like talking to people who do have that. Obviously, people can still do stuff if they don't have privilege, certain privileges, but it's that's the plan in my opinion. Like obviously it also addresses the kind of work culture as it is, because like I think it's kind of deliberate that they make us work basically all of our free time so that we can't do the revolution. Basically, that's my impression, is that they're scared of, if we get time on our hands to rest and look after ourselves and recuperate, then we're going to be unstoppable. Which is true, and the CIA knows this, and classified documents note this, that we do win in the end. But it's about the process, and it's about doing the process as quickly as possible, as soon as possible, and the more anti-fascist and the more um, feminist and equality vibes we have and actions, the faster that will happen. And that's what I think it is really a test of as us as humanity, because it is really a battle of good and evil. It's a battle of, you know, the evil of the world is inequality, and I've been saying that for like over a decade, and I've seen that in research, I've seen that in everything I've looked at and worked on, and living life, I've seen all that happen. That is the most important thing, and I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic or to prove my point and to make myself feel great about there's a reason why I'm obsessed with this area. And yeah, I just think we should all be obsessed with it. When I do my diversity training, sometimes I say, people are like, what should we do? And I'm like, just invest in protecting and uplifting and supporting and loving vulnerable people and marginalized people, and also yourself, and wherever possible, pay that attention to them, pay the resources to them, like sort out grassroots support networks and community networks and mutual aid networks and so on, so that you have a really strong supportive community structure, and one that prioritizes vulnerable people, because that is not only in the vulnerable person's interest, who is not, naturally disadvantaged because of the system that we're in, right? We need help. Like we need help. We need extra help. That's what we're here for. We're here to bring people together, um, through love. And yeah. I didn't finish my point there, sorry. That also vulnerable people can really help everyone else. Like we have knowledge, we have experience, we are used to working against the system, we know how to do it. Obviously we're not perfect, but like, yeah, just generally speaking, like undervalued groups, and also we're very diverse and we're not a monolithic group, but like what I'm saying is vulnerable people are hugely valuable for their community and for loads of perspectives, like for loads of reasons. So and that's not just in the vulnerable people's interest, it's in everyone else's interest to prioritize them as well. That's the plan. And obviously there's like lots of nuances to the plan, like we need people on every level, we need people operating on every level, you know. But a massive resource we need is time to actually actualize these things. Yeah, so if you can and you can afford it, please reduce your hours at work and work for the revolution and rest. Yeah, we can start there.